Hello, AS Willman here. Hope you enjoyed me stumbling through this. Give a quick review. All the events from chapter 1 through 6 had happened into one span of the night of October 13th, 1989, into the early mornings of October 14th, 1989. And then we are introduced to the characters of John Kessler, who's the main protagonist in it, followed up by Catherine Aldrich, who runs the Aldrich Inn. Find out in chapter 2. Find out Spencer Mahoy is on a case out in Old Town looking after Kelly Armstrong and her mischievous ways by the begrudgingly Mayor Henry Armstrong. Didn't really want. But since he was friends with John Kessler and he is engaged to Catherine Aldrich, who is also Aldrich is another founding member of Hollow Pass, he gives him the case. Find out Spencer Mahoy has a daughter, Anastasia Mahoy, and then they return to Hollow Pass. Spencer did from being drafted in 1973. He returned to Hollow Pass in 1981 with Anastasia, who was just a little over a year old. Stayed with his cousin's mom, uh, Linda Stingle, who Wyatt Stingle is his cousin. Now you find in chapter 2 Wyatt Stingle and Red Olivier Roger to the community playing cards while waiting Spencer to return back, or just, they just in there hanging out. He most likely is. Anywho, he gets back early, finds his daughter and Catherine there. Then we find out in chapter 3, Wyatt going home, how he really doesn't like to be alone and how the past always comes to haunt him and how he doesn't help himself in moving forward. Then we go into chapter 4, where we find Becky Mason, who is a waitress over there at Whitlock's Bar, who was sitting there. She had her eye on Wyatt, but shyness never catches. So she ended up going out with Red Olivier just to fill in the time. Everybody does what everybody does. Then you find out Red's a little bit of a jerk in chapter 4. All right, chapter 5 opens up at Greg Jenkins' place in Old Town. Right there, you find out that there's a little party going on down there, waiting for I see a 22-year-old Korean young man that come with his backpack full of surprises and gifts for this party for everybody to enjoy for them festivities. And in chapter 6, we find John Kessler, who was last seen paralyzed, seeing his son in the canister floating there, and the werewolf consuming his wife's liver and distorting her body, and the house being on fire. He wakes up, finds himself able to move. He's on his front lawn, and lo and behold, he runs into the deputies and the law right there. So they following up, seeing his house on fire and stuff, and there we find him showing the evidence and trying to explain to the law what he's seen that they have not seen physically themselves. So, continuing on to chapter 7, picks up in the daytime hours, the early afternoon, you know, right after morning afternoon crest time. So I hope you all enjoyed it so far, and the continuation of chapter 7 is on its way. Thank you all, and thank you again.